Well, personally, I think due to the war, which is one of the main things, I think, just the fact that people were being bombed and watching their own families die.
What do you think being a snowflake means?
Being sensitive and being protected from everything by your guardians.
Being very sensitive and sort of sheltered by our parents and society.
Being overprotected, having opportunities like handed to us, like not working for them, like taking offence to things that we really shouldn't.
Being creative.
Being weak-minded.
Being unique.
I think it means that you're delicate.
I think your generation and the younger generation, the so-called millennials, if you like, are a snowflake generation because you're all very entitled, for one. You think you deserve everything, you don't want to try. As a generation, you don't like to be challenged, you don't like to be told you're wrong, and you certainly don't like to work hard to get somewhere in life. And I think that's probably why the snowflake generation is called what it is. On top of that, we've got this new wave of mental illness coming through, and everybody talks about it now, whereas my generation and generations before that, everybody suffered but nobody spoke about it. And it's great that everybody speaks about it now, but I think it's become trendy, if you like, to have anxiety. It's become trendy to have depression. So now a person of your generation, of your age, can just turn around and say, well, I have anxiety, and everybody else has to step back and go, okay, we'll wrap you up in cotton wool, when really I think people need to learn that life is tough, and us wrapping you up in cotton wool is only going to make things worse.
I think this generation is more sensitive than the previous generation because the previous generation has gone through a lot more, like the war, and they don't want us to go through that again.
Previous generations have been raised to be tough. We've sort of been raised just in a normal way where we've just been told sort of good job. We actually haven't had like discipline or anything.
What led to the development of this so-called snowflake generation is my parents, people of my parents' age, who grew up working very hard. They did have a tough life, and what they want for their children and their grandchildren is for them to have an easier life, and I completely understand that. I'm the same with my children. I will do everything I can to make their life better and make their life easier, but there's a point where we need to step back and say, well, are we doing more damage than good? Are we protecting your generation a bit too much? And therefore future generations, I don't know what society is going to be like if we carry on the way we are, purely because you don't cope as well with real life. Real life hasn't changed, it's still very tough out there, but we are still wrapping you up in cotton wool. So when you do leave education and you do start to go to work, your generation are crumbling quite a lot.
What do you think being a snowflake is?
Weak-minded.
Sensitive.
Taking things to heart.
Offended easily.
Would you describe yourself as a snowflake, and why?
I mean, I used to be, but like properly, but I've learned to live with it. I'm not really anymore.
Once you grow older, you also get a bit more mature, so...
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Came to me naturally, being a West Ham fan.